LeTonya Gidney Bradshaw wasn't your average woman. At 49, she was extra fine, and she knew it. Fit, independent, holding down several jobs, owning her own home, and still finding time to bake pound cakes that could shut down family reunions. Tropical, Oreo, pineapple, red velvet, you name it, she could turn it into a slice of heaven. The kind of woman who could walk into a room and remind everybody that 49 wasn't the finish line, it was the glow up. So, of course, when Mike Bradshaw came along, 13 years younger, chocolate skin, hungry eyes, and a craving for her cakes, he didn't take no for an answer. She brushed him off at first, but persistence is a dangerous drug. Before long, he had her attention, her body, and eventually, her hand in marriage. And like any love story, they had a soundtrack. Her favorite, No Ordinary Love. And she believed it. She thought what they had was deeper, stronger, something that couldn't be shaken. But here's the tragedy. It was no ordinary love. It was no ordinary hell. Because while she was busy romanticizing Sade, he was busy showing her the fine print of who he really was. The missing maturity, the unstable temper, the refusal to evolve into manhood. She ignored the warning signs, trading her quiet confidence for chaos in a suit labeled marriage. And when the smoke cleared, she learned the cruelest recipe of all. You can't turn an abusive boy into a stable husband. By the time she realized it, it was too late. Welcome to the American Crime Femicide channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. Back in 2018, LeTonya was living proof that Black women could carry the world on their shoulders and still look flawless doing it. At 42, she wasn't just surviving. She was thriving in Kings Mountain, North Carolina. By day, she worked as a shipping loader at Walmart's distribution center, a job most would have called grueling, but she treated like a championship sport. It was physically demanding, but she took pride in the fact that she could lift just as much, if not more, than the men around her. Her supervisors noticed. She was repeatedly rewarded for her discipline, consistency, and hustle. But when she wasn't clocking in at Walmart, LeTonya was in her sanctuary, the kitchen. She wasn't just good at baking pound cakes. She was legendary. Pound cakes decorated like they came out of a glossy cookbook, but still baked with that southern, soul-soaked touch. She poured her joy into her craft, and her joy was contagious. People nicknamed her the Pound Cake Lady, and she wore it like a crown. Baking became her side hustle, her ministry, her peace. And it was through that very ministry that she met the man who would change her life forever. Mike Bradshaw wasn't just another customer. Sure, he had a sweet tooth, but what he really wanted wasn't sitting on her cake plate. It was standing in front of him. Mike was in his 20s, handsome, chocolate skinned, good with his hands, and persistent. And persistence is dangerous when you pair it with youth and charm. Tanya, newly into her 40s, was stunned. A younger man, barely older than her son Rashay, showing interest in her. She dismissed it at first. She was too seasoned, too focused, too smart to fall into that trap. At least, that's what she told herself. But attraction has a way of creeping past reason, and deep down, she wanted to give him a chance. After all, he wasn't a teenager. He was a grown man, just a younger one. When he came back again, she didn't say no. She let herself fall into the idea that this wasn't ordinary. Their age difference, their lifestyles, their stages of life, it didn't matter. She convinced herself she was stepping into something different, something rare, something beautiful. She told herself, this is no ordinary love. That became their motto, their bond, their justification, their warning sign hidden in plain sight. LeTonya wasn't your average 40-something woman. She was established, a senior employee at Walmart, a homeowner, a woman with a brand new Jeep, multiple revenue streams, and no desire for more children. She had raised her son into adulthood, carved out her independence, and was now cultivating a business. Mike, meanwhile, was figuring it out. He was handy with fixing things, good with his hands, and could usually find odd jobs when he needed to. But steady work, long-term vision, the kind of maturity a marriage requires, those were holes in his resume. But when Tanya looked at him, she saw potential. And women have died chasing potential. By June of 2018, they had leapt headfirst into a relationship. And just a little over a year later, on August 24th, 2019, they stood before God, family, and community saying, I do.
Tell them why we here.
We here for who? Extra fine. Well, in just 30 more minutes, my girl, my baby, will be walking down the aisle. And she will be what? Bradshaw forever.
I love you, Tanya, with all my heart. I'm ready for this. I've been waiting for this for a while now. I know I'm gonna make you a happy wife. I'm gonna be a good husband to you. And I can't wait to say I do.
Let me get up a little closer so y'all can see. Let's see everything. Oh my God. See this? This is nothing but pure beauty, royalty.
I am just anticipating and waiting on my singers to get here so we can get started to give LeTonya and Mike this wonderful day they have been waiting for a very long time.
This is Tanya's wedding, and where are the flower girls?
My name is Seneca. I'm at Aunt Tanya's wedding, and I'm a ring girl.
What's up, everybody? We're at Palmer Grove Baptist Church, about to have this wedding for my brother, Michael Bradshaw. I'm here with the brothers and family, about to have a good time.
Hello everybody, today is my big wedding day. I'm on my way trying to get down this aisle to my king that I've been waiting for all my life. Hey Michael, see you in a few. Love you.
I'm Michael Bradshaw. Take thee, Tanya Gidney, my wedded wife, to have and hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and health, to love and to honor and to cherish, to death do us part.
I, Tanya Gidney, take thee, Michael Bradshaw, to my wedded husband, to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, to death do us part, according to God's holy law, and thereto I give thee my truth.
Mr. and Mrs. Michael Bradshaw.
The wedding was everything Tanya had dreamed. Her son Rashay, a professional makeup artist and her biggest cheerleader, not only did her makeup but walked her down the aisle. He was her rock, her protector, her source of unconditional love. He wanted nothing more than to see his mother happy, and on that day, she looked radiant. A horse and carriage carried the couple to their reception, where they cut their cake, toasted their union, and basked in the fantasy. At 43, she married an almost 30-year-old man. She buried her hesitations, silenced the critics, and leaned into her new identity as a wife. And because she was LeTonya, she didn't just want to be a wife, she wanted to look the part. She threw herself into fitness. She had lost weight for the wedding, and she was determined to keep it off. She worked her 8 to 5, sold her pound cakes, hit the gym with a personal trainer, and walked the track at night with her husband. A year later, instead of an anniversary post, she posted a body tribute, celebrating being skinny. Her health journey had become a lifestyle. At almost 50, she wanted abs. She wanted discipline. She wanted to prove to herself that she could conquer anything. She became more spiritual, posting about God, motivation, growth. And Mike was there, a homebody, an introvert. He stayed off social media, mostly kept to himself, and came out for work and workouts. He was exactly who he had been when she met him, unchanged, unmoved, unbothered. And she was evolving without him. Still, Tanya poured her love out publicly. She wrote anniversary posts like prayers, dripping with gratitude for a marriage she desperately wanted to believe in. On May 22, 2021, she wrote, "When I say I have an amazing husband, that's exactly what I mean. He's always fixing something or putting something together for me, just taking care of me, period, point blank. There's nothing he can't ask me for. He gives me peace. He gives me love. He's all the man that I will ever need. I thank God for you, Mike Bradshaw." 2-year anniversary coming real soon on August 24th, 2021. When her actual 2-year anniversary came, she didn't hold back. She praised God for sending Mike her way. "We built a life together that we love, not what others have to say, but what God says. He put us together, certainly not man." I've heard people say that marriage is a job, or they call it hard work. But till this day, I say I really don't understand how can it be hard when you're with the one you truly love. And oh, how he loves me back, just overfilling my cup every day. When you do everything with your spouse, from working the same job, the same hours, with 2 sets of hardworking hands, but most of all, not planning anything without including God, we surely can never go wrong. I can go on and on about my husband, our marriage, and yes, I am bragging about how God is always blessing us because he deserves all the glory. Don't hate, just wait on God. Love him first, and he will teach you how to love yourself, and then he will send you an already prepared husband like he did me. After he cleaned up my messed up, damaged soul. 2 years of unconditional love. Happy, blessed anniversary to us. We are the Bradshaws. Her tradition of publicly celebrating their anniversaries didn't end there. It carried on into the following year. When you're up looking around at everything that reminds you of your beautiful wedding day. 23 more days, and if it's the Lord's will, we will be celebrating our 3-year anniversary. I've always said if I could marry him every day I would, but I married you once because it's forever until God do us part. We don't do much, but what we do it together. Thanks for always taking care of me. 23 more days, but we love each other every day. She was still calling it forever, still calling it no ordinary love. By 2023, on their 4th anniversary, she doubled down. Happy blessed 4-year anniversary to my husband. Thank you so much just for being my husband and loving me as I am. I love you so much, and I try my best to be the best wife a woman can be. This video will never get old. We are so beautiful together. God bless our union, and if it's the Lord's will, we will be renewing our vows next year on year 5. She was still dreaming of renewal, even as the cracks in their foundation grew deeper. Behind closed doors, the reality was far darker. Police had been called to their home for domestic violence incidents. Reports, whispers, bruises hidden under long sleeves. The most recent call came in 2024. But Tanya, like too many women taught to endure, stayed. She told herself marriage was for better or worse. She even posted in 2022 after the infamous Will Smith slap. Marriage is until death do us part, for better or for worse. That's that man's wife. Mental abuse is much worse than physical. Scars heal, your mental not necessarily. It was a chilling window into her state of mind. She was justifying pain as part of the package. She was seasoning her suffering with scripture and calling it love. She was internalizing the abuse as if endurance made her holy. But a year later, the tone shifted. Never stay in a bad situation or environment. Eventually, you'll get comfortable. This can mean anything from being overweight, in a bad relationship, a toxic job, or just being broken, period. With the help of God, get out. Her words betrayed a realization. She knew what she was living. She knew it was breaking her. By 2024, LeTonya had shifted her energy away from the marriage and toward herself. She was back in school, pursuing certification to become a personal trainer. She was still baking, still hustling, still posting encouragement and cakes on social media. But the anniversary posts faded. The "I love my husband" tributes were replaced with fitness updates, motivational scriptures, and birthday dedications to her son Rashay, the only man who had consistently shown her love without condition. Mike faded into the background. He was rarely mentioned, rarely seen. And those close to her knew the marriage was crumbling. He had left the house multiple times. She was speaking in codes and cryptic posts about being tested by devils in her circle. She was no longer a wife celebrating no ordinary love. She was a woman running back to herself. On March 7, 2025, she posted, "I'm 49 and still fine as ever. God first, me last." There was no mention of him. Just her, God, and survival. By the summer of 2025, LeTonya was done. She had poured 6 years into trying to build a man into a husband, and he had refused to evolve. She had endured abuse, silence, and volatility. She had poured love and loyalty into a man who repaid her with temper and instability. The marriage was over in every way but on paper. On August 24, 2025, there was no anniversary post, no declarations, no hashtags about no ordinary love. She was silent. She had already let go. And a week later, on September 1st, she was dead. Cleveland County Sheriff's deputies responded to 116 Sandy Point Drive off Sherryville Road. Inside the home, they found 49-year-old Tanya, deceased from multiple gunshot wounds. The suspect was her husband, Mike, the same man she had once toasted with champagne, once called forever, once believed was her no ordinary love. He was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, held without bond in the Cleveland County Detention Center. When deputies finally put the cuffs on him, the contrast was staggering. This wasn't the same young bae Tanya once flaunted with his smooth skin, bright eyes, and sharp jawline. Marriage and rage had aged him like spoiled milk left out in the sun. By the time of his arrest, his once youthful look had hardened into a dull, heavy mask, hair unkempt, eyes lifeless, face bloated by bitterness and failure. He no longer looked like the persistent young man who had charmed her over pound cakes. He looked like the mugshot of every wasted promise. The fine young man she thought was her forever had deteriorated into exactly what he was, an ordinary abuser with nothing left to give but violence. He killed her 1 week after their 6th wedding anniversary. The news shattered Tanya's friends, destroyed her family, and devastated Rashay. He had been her rock, her protector, her reason. He had walked her down the aisle to Mike, believing his mother was walking into joy. The same man Rashay once trusted to love and protect his mother was the very man who put her in the ground. The irony was brutal. She had once written that marriage was until death do us part. He had made sure of it. She had once called their bond no ordinary love. She was right. Ordinary love doesn't end in gunfire. Ordinary love doesn't leave a son burying his mother because her husband couldn't let go. This was no ordinary love. This was no ordinary tragedy. This was the predictable outcome of loving potential, ignoring red flags, and mistaking pain for passion. Tanya should have been celebrated for her discipline, her cakes, her fitness, her faith, her love for her son. Instead, her name will forever be tied to the man who couldn't handle her evolution, who chose murder over maturity, who killed her the moment she decided to finally live without him. She tried. God knows she tried. She tried to love him into manhood. She tried to hold the marriage together. She tried to pray the demons away. But you cannot bake enough cakes, lose enough weight, pray enough prayers, or love hard enough to turn an abusive boy into a stable husband. And now a woman who called herself extra fine, who poured her love into her community, her faith, her son, is gone. May LeTonya Gidney Bradshaw rest in peace.